Sometimes pet owners aren't sure what kind of pet food to buy for their fur babies. Breed, size, and age all weigh in. For pointers on what to give your pets, here's Renee Streeter, a board-certified veterinarian nutritionist.
Okay, so what's the dog's name?
I'm Renee Streeter, and I'm a board-certified veterinary nutritionist. Yeah, so we want our pets to have the right balance of nutrition, or just ensure that all of their nutrient requirements are being met. Because we know that a lack of nutrients or particular nutrients will result in illness or disease, and that can range from a lot of things, but it can include like bone and joint abnormalities, or it can include heart disease or even neurologic disease. And we can prevent those by feeding appropriate nutrients. Of course, too, if we have too much of a nutrient or nutrient excess, that can also result in disease. A pet owner should be able to consult their veterinarian, absolutely, to determine, or to help them to determine if the pet food's nutritionally balanced. They can also look right on the bag, and there's an AAFCO statement there, AAFCO, that'll tell them if the food is balanced to meet requirements for a particular life stage or for all life stages. Some of the factors that we want to look for when you're walking into a pet store and trying to decide what pet food to buy are breed and activity level and age. So to start off with, there's actual different requirements for a puppy or kitten who's growing than for an adult dog, and so that's the first distinction you want to make. Then after that, you have to think about activity level, which is huge, right? Your couch potato pug is not going to need the same energy that your working German Shepherd needs. And so taking a peek at the calorie density of the food and the energy content of the food is going to be that next step. And then breed, there's some foods out there that are actually made for particular breeds. Mostly what that is it's just taking into account the generalizations of that breed. Some dogs, like brachycephalics, or pushed and faced dogs, they're going to eat differently than a dog with a longer snout, and so the kibble shape is actually different to help them eat more easily. When you turn that bag over and you're looking at the label and you're trying to decide, is this right for my pet? Again, I'm going to encourage you to take a very individualistic approach. There's no one ingredient that I'm going to say that's not good for any pet, or another one that you must absolutely have that ingredient. It's what's right for your pet. Some dogs or cats, for instance, do really well on a really digestible diet. So one protein, one carbohydrate, something very simple is going to be best for them. A lot of extras that are awesome for other dogs or cats because they have phytonutrients and fibers in them, like fruits and vegetables, might not be good for your dog. So just having that understanding of what your pet needs and then being able to know where you can find the information, I think is huge. For the most part, grain-free food is not more nutritious than a food containing grain. You've got the occasional pet that's going to have an adverse reaction or an allergic reaction to the grain, but they're in the minority. So whenever you've got a grain-free food, it doesn't mean carbohydrate-free. So they're going to replace whatever grain with some other carbohydrate, for instance, like a potato. And so therefore, the food's just not any more nutritious than a food containing grain. So things we should not feed our pets. Well, you've got your classics, right? Don't feed them chocolate, don't give them alcohol, grapes and raisins are toxic, onions and garlic are toxic. So those are things to definitely avoid all the time. Some other things that are bad and are hidden are things like xylitol, which is an artificial sweetener that you could find in some peanut butters. And so keeping an eye out for that if you're using human foods that could contain a xylitol ingredient. Other treats that people often give are bones, and so any type of bone is potentially dangerous. And if nothing else, they're just as hard or harder than teeth, and so they're going to wear down the teeth and break them. In terms of like table scraps and foods that we all love to give our pets, we definitely want to be careful because those are calories that are going to add up much more quickly for our pets, for one thing. But there are some healthy people foods or table foods that we can use maybe instead of biscuits that will provide some nutrients. So things like carrots, green beans, steamed zucchini, those are low-calorie treat options that dogs will really like and feel like they're getting something great. They also really like fruits. So melons, strawberries, blueberries, apples. Cats are more particular than dogs in general. They don't as often request people food, but some do. And things that they like maybe that they can have is the squashes. So they seem to enjoy zucchini, pumpkin. As a treat, that would be very reasonable for a cat and provide some nice fiber as well. I think my final takeaway message is try not to get bogged down by the marketing. All pet food companies think they're doing the best for the pet, and they want to make you believe that too and buy their food. They're going to kind of make statements that are going to make their food look amazing and all the other foods not. That might not necessarily be true, and it might lead us to buy foods that sound good to us, but are not necessarily any better for the pet. So make it individual. Know your pets, talk to your veterinarian, and really focus on the nutrition and try to put all that marketing behind you.